It's time for Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimpson and Kevin Scholla.
We head to the great state of Virginia now, the Commonwealth of Virginia. We bring in Susan Stimpson. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Kevin. It's great to be back with you.
Well, great to have you again, and something I know that has been an issue we've both fought for, and that's equal treatment of women running for office or just women in general, and something this past week renewed that fire in you, something concerning Erika Harold, who was a guest here on the Palin Update a few weeks ago. So what have you noticed in the treatment of Harold, Miss America 2003, who's now seeking a congressional seat in Illinois?
I first noticed Miss Harold when I read some headlines about some of the racist rants that the GOP leader there in Illinois had stated about her. So I looked into her background and was surprised to find that she had her law degree from Harvard. She was an accomplished attorney. She had served on many boards that, served the community. She had been Miss America. And then she has now come back into the news again. The Weekly Standard has run an article on Miss America versus Mr. Incumbent, and they're just trying to figure out why in the world she would want to run for Congress. And it just renewed that same issue that I'm seeing. It is a perspective that is missing from the table in American politics, that it's not just Republican, but it is also Democrat, that there is definitely a headwind that women face when they're running for office. And I think that this example of Erika Harold is just a prime example of just this good old boy network really just coalescing around their guy and really trying to push out a strong woman candidate.
Governor Palin obviously talked about her run for governor, breaking through that good old boy network, who kind of, looked at her not only as a woman, but also as the youngest governor elected and someone who had small children, and they use these things against women and never against men. Sarah Palin always talks about cracking that glass ceiling, too. So what will it take here? I mean, you're in a state where there's no congressional representation from any women in the Senate or in the House. Parties talk about all this recruitment, but really, what are we looking at as far as women candidates down the road here?
Well, I'm glad to see the Republican Party talking about wanting to recruit women and support women in their run for office. But when I actually see more women in office, Republican women, then that's when I'll believe that the leaders are supporting Republican women running for office. And I think that they really do need to put their money where their mouth is. And I'm not seeing that. What I do think will matter is having more women who enter into the fray. Sarah Palin certainly did take on the good old boy network, and she actually was quite accomplished as the governor of Alaska. Her life took a different turn, of course, when she was up for vice president, but she was accomplished. She did break through some barriers, and there are other women, obviously, that are doing that, but for this real change to happen, I believe that just like Sarah Palin is doing and other female leaders need to do, you're going to have to build up your own grassroots support, and you're just going to have to build up your own power on your own. You're going to have to go around that good old boy network.
And do you think part of it is that the established elected male candidates just realize that a lot of these women running won't play ball or go along to get along? Because you look at the scandals in Washington, even though there are more elected men, still there are a bunch of women who are in office. All of these big scandals, it's always a man, it seems. So does it almost get down to the point where they say, well, I don't think she's going to play ball on this, whereas, my good buddy so-and-so may very well, do a backroom deal here to, pass legislation for special interest or what have you?
I do think it all comes down to power. And how can those who are in office maintain their power, because they want to hold on to that power tightly, and they're going to go with who they're comfortable. And I think that sometimes women candidates can change the paradigm a little bit, but it's not just Republicans that are having this problem. I mean, you can look at the Democrats. They talk about their quote-unquote war on women that the Republicans are waging, but you have Anthony Weiner and Spitzer and the mayor of San Diego, Filner, who have just horribly treated women, and there is hardly any outcry at all from the Democrats on this. So it goes both ways.
All right, Susan Stimpson, interesting points here, and hopefully leaders like yourself and Governor Palin can in the forefront of this year and hopefully endorse some folks and get people out there who will be able to run and get elected and not be afraid of this good old boy network that obviously still exists.
Kevin, thanks for having me on.
Susan Stimpson in Virginia. More Commonwealth Common Sense next week.